Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm doing a testimony story of my life working in a strip club in the past. I was one of those guys that think working in a strip club would be something cool. You get to see beautiful women, maybe get some free food and liquor after work. The DJ playing great music. You think it would be so easy working in a strip club, especially in my case, a security guard or bouncer. But the strip club I worked in, right? I'll say the location was in the Bronx, New York, but I won't say the name of the strip club. Figure that out. There's a few strip clubs in the Bronx, believe it or not. But there was two types of security guards. There was a security guard that does the watching, the scanning, make sure everything is, the doors are closed, know what strippers are coming in and out, make sure they're safe. And then you got the other type of security guards, which we call, of course, the bouncer. And when shit gets hard and heavy, they're the ones that's going to step in and kick some ass, pretty much. And the strip club I worked in usually do have like a few altercation fights, guys arguing, trying to feel up on the women. They drank too much. And so they want to go, because they lonely, they want to start arguing, thinking they could get laid, but they can't. Of course not. You see strippers, you see how they are, like, it's like they know how to make their money, you know. I'm not talking about dancing, but you see strippers, how they sit together at the bar or at the table looking at certain guys that they know they can take a lot of money out of from. And you learn that, you just watch, and I'd be like, why were these girls looking at one guy who had like the gold chain? He was sitting by himself, but he had money every time I go dance. He literally tipped them. And these girls would go around him, and the guy would be checking them out. And, you know, a few of the girls he would spend the money on, but this guy didn't want to spend money on all of them because he wasn't feeling some girls. He had his own preference, you know. Most men, and even you even got women that go to the strip club too, by the way. Female strip clubs, of course, that they go with their partner, lesbian, or husbands, or boyfriends, or whatever. Or even by themselves. Yeah, there are women that actually do go to women's strip clubs by themselves, believe it or not. Which was a shocker, though. And then those women, there's just customers, you get those guys looking at them thinking they're like horn dogs because they had a strip club watching all the women. You know, and we have to like push these guys away. We ask the women, are you okay? He said, no, I'm not okay. Got this guy hassling me, and we gotta tell the guy, please leave her alone, sit at your table, enjoy your food, your drink, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you hear the stories, you didn't want to believe it, but it's always true. There are fights, there are arguments, and fortunately, when I was doing the security around there, I only had like a few encounters, maybe like four encounters. Yeah, four encounters in my case. But when I get back from work from that day, I hear, oh, this happened the day before when you wasn't around. So you hear there's fights, even fights among strippers, which I never witnessed myself. But when I come in on work the next day, I hear the stories how the two strippers are going at it. Like, oh, you trying to take my money, you trying to take my customer. And as for prostitution, it does go on in the strip club, but that's not up to the owners. It's not their fault. It's the strippers' fault because they pick the guys they want. They know what guys have the money, and sometimes they want more and more money. So you do have a few of the strippers. As a security guard, I'll stay there and watch, make sure they're okay, but I don't like jump in and say that, hey, you cannot do that. That's the choice between the stripper and the clients they're with, right? So, yeah, if the stripper won't let you, you could have sex with a stripper, but of course, you're going to be paying more money, you know, which is obvious, right? I don't know how much money he's going to spend on that strip to get laid physically, but yeah, and it's on camera too, by the way. Yeah, it is literally on camera. We are watching it, you know, and in real time. And as security guards, we and the owners say that we don't know nothing about that. That's between those two. Word of mouth. We don't support prostitution, but we don't say nothing. You know, that's their choice. But yeah, it does go down depending on what the stripper likes. You know, how much money she really wants that bad. The DJs are always cool. He does his job. He never interact with the strippers. He never like sleep with the strippers. He said hi, hello, good night, how you doing, goodbye. You know, that's all the DJ does. He mind his own business. Like he knew the assignment. Hey, I'm here to make my music. I'm here to make my money. And he was mad cool though. He always played some really, really good music like techno, house, R&B, rap, love songs, like those lonely type of music. I remember one time he played Teddy Pendergrass. I'm like, oh, he played Teddy Pendergrass, and those strippers could dance to Teddy Pendergrass. I kid you not. Teddy Pendergrass is like one of those 70s old soulful type of music, like Barry White, like. Yeah, they even plays that. And you can feel the vibe, The energy is good, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, like, it's mainly like drunk customers, and you do have strippers that do go at it by the hood. Like, I never encountered it myself. But besides that, my experience been good. But you gotta work those long hours, you're gonna get tired. Even though I was working 3 days, I was getting tired, bro. Like, you stand most of the time. Very rarely you sit down. But when you stand, you just walk around. You just gotta keep looking, make sure everything's okay. The only time you do sit down is when you have to watch the cameras, which is like you'll be there for 1 hour watching the cameras. In my case, I was watching the cameras for 1 hour when the other security guards need to take a break. So I was just watching the cameras for 1 hour. That's the only time. And after that, I'm mainly more standing up, And very, very rarely I do have a few strippers that do come up to me and say, hey, you look kind of cute. What are you? Are you Dominican? I said, no, I'm not Dominican. I tell them I'm Indian. They be like, you Indian? You don't look Indian. And like you said, he's trying to do a little chit chat. But like I said, even my boss tells me do not get close to the strippers like that. Do not get sexual with them because you don't want to lose a job. You don't want to get a lawsuit. You don't know. But the closest thing you could get to a stripper outside is when you walk them into their car. Make sure they're not getting harassed by a customer or some customer might wait for them. You have a situation, I can tell you one situation when a jealous boyfriend was there sitting down watching his girl, and the guy was trying to feed up on the girl. He got jealous, wanted to fight the guy, which is kind of weird. He's like, your girl's a stripper, right? But we, as security guards, we put a stop to that, and we kicked the guy out, trying to touch the girls, As if the boyfriend, he was able to stay, we calmed him down, he was cool. And he calmed down, so we did our job, getting rid of those crazy, hectic customers like that. But all in all, the strip clubs, it's really long hours. You're going to get tired. Mostly, you will be standing in most cases. And, if you wanted to stand most of the time, it's like doing a store job. But you're just looking at chicks, dancing and looking at drunken guys or guys thinking that all that and shit. But all in all, yeah, strip club's not really easy at the end of the day. So, yeah. Anyway, over and out. Peace.